I understand. And you know why? Because you and me, we are type A. Type A fucking gets it done.
100%. This is Total Babble. Total Babble. It's a show about music, pop culture, social media, movies, the internet, relationships, TV, whatever. Total Babble. The Total Babble Podcast.
Hey, it's Emily and Stu. We're here talking. We do this show. And hi, how are you? How's your week?
Hi, I'm so great. I've got so many things to tell you. I'm very excited
Well, we always
to see you.
Start the beginning of the show off with things kind of from last week that we need to cover again. And last week we got off the air. And then you sent me a discussion that you had with your son off the air that you recorded. And I thought this very special. And I thought we should play it back right now because it kind of shows what you deal with in a good way on a day-to-day basis. So...
And this is the little one. This is the little one that
Okay, I thought this was the bigger one. He carries himself very well for the little one.
He does. He's the little one.
All right. Well, here is your conversation with him after the show.
Did you know that there is a mobile game called Total Battle, which sounds eerily similar to the name of a certain podcast that I know? This is Total Battle. Shut the hell away from me!
My favorite part is the end where he's cracked himself up so much he's pounding on the desk, and you can hear that. And this is a great kid. This is a wonderful kid. If we were in the same city, I would offer to babysit for you. Other than that, I'm a little bit bothered by the boomy acoustics of your room. If you could set up your entire house to be like a dead studio, that would be great. But I know that's not reasonable. And I just thought that was really great and really fun. And you should encourage that kind of thing in the boy.
I will. And the most surprising thing, is that the kids aren't supposed to listen to our podcast.
Oh.
And he has revealed to me that he secretly listens to the podcast. And that's how he knows about Shut the Hell Away From Me and that we do it on the podcast. And he obviously knows the intro as well.
Right.
Because he knows the way that it goes. And so it was very revealing, this conversation.
And you know, I try to be a responsible adult, and this show is meant for adults, but you're the parent, but I don't have a problem with that. Let him listen. We don't discuss anything that's really wrong, right? Maybe the stuff with your maid, if he didn't know about that.
Yeah. I don't know. For the most part, my children know who I am, and they probably receive a lot of the same stories, but just a more PG version. You know, they get my representative, the more cleaned up, better version of myself. Oh, except for today, the little one.
Yeah.
God bless him. He's the funny one. Okay. You know how we talk about Big Brain Barry and the funny one? They're both very smart children, academically and in different ways. But the one who's funny is a bit of a space cadet. And today we were running late for school and I ended up screaming at him. And I feel really bad about it. And I sometimes come here and this is like confession for me.
Well, and now he'll hear this. So it's perfect.
And I did recover and I apologized and everything. I'm not going to give you all the gory details, but it was a wind up. The abridged version is he woke up late, even though I tried to get him out of bed. He had things to do that he didn't do. He got off to a super late start. We get to this pivotal point in time where he needs to put on socks and shoes, okay? We're supposed to leave at 7:20 a.m. for him to get to school. It is currently 7:40 a.m. I send him upstairs. Quickly, bub, go upstairs, put your shoes and socks on. We gotta go. We're late. I go into my room because I also need to put on clothes. And the next thing that I hear is a fucking flute. Okay? This Pied Piper motherfucker has 3D printed a fucking flute and is just twiddly-deedly-dee in his bedroom. And I was livid because I'm already freaked out that he's going to be late to school.
Yeah.
And I just scream out, "What the fuck are you doing right now?" And he pipes up, he goes, "What do you mean?" And I come down to his room and I'm like, What do you mean? What do I mean? Do you have shoes on? He's like, oh, no. It's like, why not? I forgot. Okay,
I forgot there was a flute there. Don't you understand?
Yeah, I forgot. I was like, so you got into your room and forgot that we were already 20 minutes late for school and you're probably going to be tardy and you're carrying a pair of socks and you have put down the socks and picked up a flute and forgotten that you're there to put shoes on. And he goes, yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh.
Well, yes, I did.
Oh,
thank you, Mummy.
Exactly. And it was at that moment that I wanted to just throw him off the top rope. But I just stormed out of there like a bridge troll and I was like, put on your fucking shoes, fuck! And then I went down and then he stormed past me to go to the car. No lunch, no bag, no computer, nothing. He was on his way, just left all of his stuff behind.
Well, it's your fault because now you've rushed him.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now I've rushed him. Now I've abused my poor, beautiful boy. I was so enraged by the entrance of a flute that I didn't even know existed,
Right.
by the way.
That wasn't the way we expected that story to go. All of a sudden, there's a flute. Oh, okay, there's a flute now. I understand.
There's a flute now. And, a flute. Flute.
Being that they're now listening, I figured there's a couple things that I wanted to go over. First off is that I'm thinking about reworking some of the production elements on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I came up with this. Let me know what you think about this. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I am thinking about it.
This is Total Battle.
Total Battle. It's a show about music, pop culture, social media, movies, the internet, relationships, TV, whatever. Total Battle. The Total Battle Podcast.
So I figured we could do something like that. I don't know if I'm going to go with it, but it's a possibility. We got that going on. And then I thought, okay, that kid is... You say he's the funny one. He's also very much a thinker, it seems.
Oh, yes.
And I look at that kid and I said, that kid is going to grow up to like Rush. I feel like he would be a Rush fan. And I feel like I could be the one to teach him of the great rock. I want to be the Lester Bangs in Almost Famous. And I would tell him, first off, I would say never try to talk to girls about Rush. There are 6 female Rush fans in the entire world. And I know 4 of them. So, there's that. And Moving Pictures, good entry point for Rush.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Tom Sawyer. Then there's Permanent Waves that has the song Spirit of Radio, a song that helped me get into radio. I loved it so much. But then I would tell him of 2112. And I would say, listen, 2112 is perhaps the greatest Rush record ever made. It's very screechy at first. The vocals are like, whoa, this is aggressive. But if you really take some time with it and study it, it is one of the greatest pieces of music ever. Side 1, concept record. The people of this planet have been taken over by the fascist society that does not allow for music. It is very Orwellian. Could happen here on Earth.
Could happen here on Earth now.
There you go. So then this dude discovers this guitar, wonderful music, and he wants to share it with the world. And then the priests of the temples of Syrinx tell him to go away, and there's a big battle and conflict because these Orwellian assholes do not want music and creativity in the society. And that is the whole side 1 of the record that is great once you get into it. And attention, all planets of the Solar Federation, we have assumed control. And I get to the end of that side, and I don't know who has assumed control. I'm still lost after all these years. Is it the Orwellian people, or have the artists, the music
Is
people?
it the resistance?
Yeah, I don't know how that ends. And I would like to ask the people in Rush this someday, and maybe we can pursue that. But 2112 for your boy and anybody else, it's a thing. It's a thing you got to tackle, and you go, wow, those Geddy Lee vocals, but it is completely worth it. That, and I would teach him the religion. Do you mind if I teach your kid religion?
No, it's fine. We're all about theology here.
Okay.
We're not a religious people, but we talk about religion a lot.
Okay. Because I thought my religion that I would impart to him is some people need to be taught a lesson. And it's very true. And it's not only negative, it is positive too. Some people need to be taught a positive lesson in a good way. I had an incident at Costco this week, and I didn't even know that I was going to bring it up. I can
Did
tell you,
you
or I
what?
can leave it alone because we've had so much of that.
I
It's your choice. What do you think the listeners want?
What do I think? I think people love hearing about you crashing out. And so I want to hear about Costco. I also do want to give you encouragement for the Rush education.
It's so good.
The little funny one has recently taken up baseball, and I wanted you to guess what his walk-on song is.
Ooh. See, this is hard because they're young, but you don't know what they know. And based on the conversation, you would think it's maybe something Rush.
It's classic rock.
Okay.
And I would say that the 2112 vocals, kind of that screamy, intense vocals, that will narrow it down for you in terms of classic rock vocalists. Also, remember, he was born in Australia.
Okay, so we're AC/DC. Is he walking onto Highway to Hell? That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. But no, it's another one because you need something that, you can start from the beginning, like at time code 0.
Back in Black. You Shook Me All Night Long.
You Shook Me All Night Long is a little bit risque.
Yeah, but I figured they could just do the intro.
They could do the intro. No, he's, I'll tell you what it is. It's Thunderstruck.
Okay. That's very sports. I could see that at an arena.
Yeah, sports ball. So there you go. Anyway, so tell me about your Costco crash out, Stuza.
Preface is, I love Costco. It's one of the
You
few
do.
places left that hasn't given in to Trump, and all those other Target places can suck my ass. I have good things to say about Costco. I take my old person there when I try to get her to walk because she's fussy and doesn't like to walk, and I do it under the guise of, come on, we'll walk around the store and get stuff that we need. And she's very slow, and I wait for her. And we buy our stuff, and then we get to the part where we're exiting the store, and I'm a little bit offended by you have to stop and check in with us to prove you didn't steal. That bothers me a little bit as a customer based on the amount of business that I give you, but okay, I know it's part of the thing. So we get there, and there's only one person doing it. Usually there's one on each side. There's one person doing it, and there's somebody in front of me, and she stops, and this person at the door seems to take an extra long time going through each and every item. Still, I'm being patient. And then they do that. And then her and this person start a conversation, and they're just going to talk for a little while, and they're going to talk, and they're going to talk. And I'm like, okay, I'm with my mom. She walks slow. She's getting tired, to be fair. It's not what set me off. What set me off was the incident itself, if I'm being honest. But they're just talking. And finally, I did one of these. I gave a shrug. People listening at home, I kind of shrugged my shoulders, hands up like, are we moving or what are we doing? Because it went on for a while. And I'm all for being cordial and being nice to people. So then the other one moves on, and she looks at my receipt and she marks it. And as I'm leaving, she goes, just giving good customer service. And I take a couple steps, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to initiate this. So I go back and I said, that's good. You should do that. And I turn and I start to walk away. And she says to me, so you don't have to make all kinds of gestures. Now, would you have left it there at that point?
Yeah, I would have left it
Okay.
way before.
Do you think that I left it there at that point?
Definitely not.
Okay.
That's why we've come to Costco crash out.
Okay.
I
So
want to know what happens next.
then I
'cause
went back and I said, you should be nice to all people, especially those that are in line waiting, who could then go and call your corporate office if there's a problem. And I smiled and I started to walk away. To which she says, yeah, well, I'll call my manager. I'll call HR right now. And I said, you do that. Let's see how this goes. And at that point, I was going to leave it. And I got my old person back to the car, and I put her in the car, and I said, you wait here. I'm going back. So I went back. I walked back up to her, and she seemed surprised to see me. And I said, why don't you get your manager? And she went, okay. Called her manager, and I explained to the manager, and I prefaced it like this. I positioned it like this. I said, I admit that I instigated this a little bit. I wasn't coming from a positive place. I perhaps should have been more positive, but also I'm here with my 80-year-old mother who's tired of walking, and it seemed like it took a really long time. And I did shrug my shoulders as if to say, can we move it along? And here's what she said to me. And I don't feel like that was a great way to de-escalate the situation and a great way to talk to a customer. And she said, yes, I'm very sorry. We're going to pull her off of that line and we'll write something up later. So that's the way it ended. I felt good about it. You can tell me, because you do, am I the dick?
I think in that scenario, she's actually the dick.
Okay. This is what I feel too.
I don't always side with you
I
on
know.
some of these things. Sometimes I'm like, you've gone off-piste. But on this one, I do think that she was looking for a fight. She was trying to assert her authority.
Right.
And I think that she is probably, she was throwing a little rock at you as you were exiting. And I think that has not gone how she expected.
Right.
And she's had to double down because I think she's used to being a little bit snide, a little bit snarky, a little bit, how you going? And you have called her on it, and then you have both got whipped up, and then you called her on her bullshit. She thought she got away scot-free.
Yep.
But you came back, and yeah, things are probably not going well. Now, in the grand scheme of things, would I have done it? No.
I know
Why?
you wouldn't, because you're very passive.
Yeah, I'm relatively passive. But I might have if she wanted to get into it like she did with you. I think I probably would have responded to that. But I probably wouldn't have been as cordial as you, because I'm a little bit not as, if she had have like come at me, I think like that, I think I probably would have been removed from the store.
I felt like I gave her two opportunities as I was walking away to just end it there. And she took that opportunity to make another comment. And that's where I had to flip back around and say, no, it's not going to go this way because you're being a fucker. And I for sure don't believe that the customer is always right. They're often wrong, but you also do not need to escalate the situation like you did. So fuck you.
Yeah. It seems like she's miserable and trying to make you miserable. Now, it's obvious that she was offended by the gesture.
Right. Don't care.
Right.
Sorry.
However, you only shrugged. My husband, bless his cotton socks, does not queue and does not like to line. And he would have said something.
I was in a mind state of, I'm having to prove to you that I didn't steal, and there is half the line that there normally is because normally there's two people and you're keeping me waiting an extra long time. That's not a great customer experience, so I'm going to shrug.
Yeah, I don't think the shrugging was that bad. It sounds like it was going on for a long time, and she was delightfully oblivious and wants to have a chat, which is great, which is lovely. However, the line is backing up. Yep, she was in the wrong in this situation.
So what we're saying then is some people just need to be taught a lesson.
Do you think she learned a lesson?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it went well for her afterwards, and I'm fine with that. I wouldn't want her to get fired if they would have said weird, stupid fantasy offshoot. If they would have said, well, we can fire her, I would say, no, don't fire her. Just teach her not to be an asshole.
I don't think that they would be taught. I don't think that she'll change. I think she's just like that.
So what you're saying is I should go back there and look for her and see how it goes.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Don't do that. But I think that some people can change, but then a lot of people can't, won't. Her version of the story is no doubt that you were harassing her and you were in the wrong.
Right.
It'll be something crazy like that, but I don't know.
And I
I
only told the manager the part at the beginning where she was kind of shitty. I didn't go into all the other shit she said with, well, I'll call my manager right now. Like, I only told them the first part where she was bad enough. I could have gone further. So, all right, whatever.
All right. Well, I think we've really gotten to the root
Yeah, there you
of
go.
that
Yeah,
particular on the Costco
some people just need to be
crash
taught
out.
a
It wasn't
lesson.
even
Hang on.
that bad.
Prayer hands.
Prayer hands.
I was praying. It's my religion. Some people need to be taught a lesson. There we go. Nothing big really happened in the overall news this week. There was nothing huge this week, was there? If I had to look through the news and, there's the part where we're in another war that has been started, and perhaps it's going to be a third world war. Perhaps at the very least, it'll be another Vietnam. And it's all to hide that this motherfucker screwed around with little kids, allegedly.
It is so deeply disturbing and disappointing that in the 12 months since he took office, he's now bombed an inordinate number of countries, and he's started some ridiculous board of peace. It's so insane to me. And he's just no diplomacy, just out there bullying people and bombing them. By the way, on behalf of other countries, definitely at the behest of Israel, even though he's saying that they were threatening the United States with nuclear weapons and that's why we needed to act first.
Where there's no proof, by the way.
Exactly.
Show us some proof.
It's weapons of mass destruction all over again.
Exactly.
Don't we remember that he bombed them earlier in the year, saying that we took out all of their nuclear
he got them all. He
research
bragged
facility?
that he got every single last one of them and wrecked them, and they were done.
Right.
Right. Well, there's something financial for him with Netanyahu and all that's going on. And
yeah. He is a stooge for Israel. He is a traitor because he works for Israel.
And beyond that, I think most of the country understands this and realizes this, even if they are on the other side. The problem is that these dipshit Republicans aren't still having the balls to do anything about it. So we're just going to go round and round, and we'll see how it goes and hope we get fair elections and go from there. But your guy, Talerico, won the nomination last night. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
I've been watching him. I didn't realize he was going up against Jasmine Crockett because I hadn't followed that. And I really like her, but between
I really
the two,
like her too.
He's the guy that can win it. She can't win it because she's a black girl. I mean, that's just the way it is. And she rubs them the wrong way.
Yes, I think as far as diplomacy goes, I really like Jasmine Crockett too.
Yep.
I think that she's fantastic. And I love watching her just mace people left, right, and center. Like if politics was like wrestling, I'd want her to win. But I also love Talerico because James Talerico is a very traditional statesman.
He seems like the guy that knows how to get it done. He's like a Buttigieg.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he also comes from a fantastic background, and he's just the kind of person that we need for this political climate right now. And the reason that I say that is because we have all of this twisted church and state Christian nationalist insanity that is rearing its ugly head. And James Talerico is actually a pastor. He's a preacher. And he was also a teacher. And so he has a long history of working with youth, and he also has these fantastic, well thought through arguments and a strong position that he can argue about what being a man of faith means to him. And now, as we know, I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form, but I feel like even knowing that he also will represent me. He also will represent everyone who's not a Christian. And he talks about that a lot. And go Texas. Get it.
I think I like her because she is like me, just based on the conversation we just had, where she speaks what is on her mind always. But then I look at him, and the reason that I correlated him to Buttigieg is that he is more measured and understands how to get things done and understands the way to approach things in a better way for things to work politically. And I think both of those can be beneficial. But I think for getting the vote in Texas, I think he's absolutely the guy that can do it. And I'm really excited for that. I hope that works out because anything to be on the right side of things. And this Board of Peace, here's the thing I don't understand. It's now Board of Peace, but then he also had created the Department of War. Remember that whole thing? Isn't that kind of a contradiction? I don't understand how that works.
Is it what? And not only that, but we've got Hegseth the incompetent, the alcoholic former newscaster running the Department of War. And he is standing up here this week talking about how their department isn't going to be woke.
Because that's still important.
But in the very next breath, he starts talking about rules of engagement and how they're not going to be hindered by them and all these different bits and pieces.
And there was something about, we didn't start the war, but we're going to finish it. And shut up.
Right? It is just, it's the wank fest 5000.
Yeah.
And rules of engagement exist for a reason. The Geneva Convention exists for a reason. It is abhorrent to me, just the abject lack of just following any fucking rules that this government has. And we'll be the first ones to start crying and screaming when somebody else starts breaking the rules.
Yeah. Total hypocrisy wherever you can do it. And it doesn't matter.
None of their kids are going to go to this war.
Well, that was my first meme, that the first person that we need to send over is this Damien Trump motherfucker and have him go over there, send the Omen spawn over there, and let's have him fight at the front lines. But, they said he's too tall. That's convenient.
Not true. Yeah. We have a history of very tall people. In fact, there is a storied history of professional basketball players going to war at 7 feet or taller for this country. So, suck shit, Baron. If they bring back conscription, I'll be so upset. But I wouldn't be surprised because that's incorrect, but hardly anyone wants to fight for this absolute
There's
ass clown.
Nothing that needs to be fought for. There's no nuclear weapons. If anything, we're going over there and we're going to get a bunch of oil out of it. If anything, we're going over there and we're going to get a bunch of property and oil that the Trump administration and all of their cohorts benefit from. That's all this is. Oh, and really none of it would be going on if it wasn't a big distraction for Epstein. And everybody realizes this. Everybody's talking about this. Everybody, but the Republicans won't do anything about it. And the fucking puss, Chuck Schumer, Democrats won't stand up to anybody because Schumer's a fucking puss too.
Talking about the Epstein files, I, for the life of me, do not understand why they are deposing Hillary Clinton. Why? Like, she wasn't there. She's not in any of the files except for, I think she's in maybe, I don't know what it is, but like a photo with her and Bill or something. But why is she being deposed around the Epstein files? There was a plan
that they were going to get something out of it, and I don't understand what that plan is. They were going to make them look terrible, or they were going to catch them in something, and they didn't. I don't know what was supposed to happen there. And then Lauren Boebert, that asshole, sent a picture of it, and, I'm sorry. Fuck you. You should be out of your job. You should be held in contempt of court for doing that.
Well, and did you hear the line of questioning around just speculative, weirdo Pizzagate stuff? She got absolutely reamed by Hillary Clinton, Boebert, with her ridiculous line of questioning. I don't understand. Am I a big Hillary Clinton fan? No. However, why is it that we're bringing her in and deposing her, but we're not deposing any of the guys who are actually in the files?
Let's start with Melania and bring her in and interview her just for the humor of it. That would be goddamn hilarious because she can't even complete a fucking sentence being in the country 30 years. But aside from that, then maybe go to the head of the snake that needs to be cut off and we get Trump in there and let's watch him lie his ass off and just get it on record so that then down the road we can throw him in jail for the rest of his life.
Well, and all he does when he's deposed, because he has been deposed previously, but not in that forum, is he just pleads the fifth.
Yeah. And that in itself is going to demonstrate so much to everyone that is just fed up and just pissed off already. And these are little things. These are all bad things that need to happen before the next election. That's the one thing that keeps me going. Let's keep the bad things going. That way everybody sees it and everybody's pissed off. And then we'll maybe get a good outcome.
And I know that Donald Trump has done his dash with a large group of people because my dad sent me a message saying, I'm done with Trump after he bombed Iran.
Because you said that you guys were not getting along for a long time because of that, right?
Well, I mean, he and I get along, but we would definitely have heated conversations about that, yes, and we're at completely opposite political spectrums in that regard. But yep, he has, even his most fervent supporters are now going, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're out of your tree.
I would feel like such an asshole if I was that person. Not talking about your dad, but if I was somebody that was really hardcore and voted for him, I think I would have a really hard time admitting that. And I get why they're so resistant to giving into it, but just look at it. And then just say, okay, you know what? I fucked up. Let's work together to get this fucker out of office.
Yeah, exactly. There should be an amnesty on everyone who voted, realized that they were lied to. Don't give them a hard time. If you are somebody who is listening to our show, and Stu might have a different opinion, but if those people are there, make it safe for them to admit that they're wrong. Don't give them shit about it and just welcome them back to the good side.
Yeah, I can be open to that.
Yeah, because obviously it's really hard for them because they've been lied to by someone and they were expecting results that haven't eventuated. And not only that, but doing things that they 100% didn't want. In fact, things that they deliberately voted against. You know, think about like the Iran war. Go back to, 2011 or whatever, and all of the tweets that Donald Trump tweeted about how Obama was going to bomb Iran because he's a terrible negotiator and blah, 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 blah. Wow.
He is the ultimate do as I say, not as I do human being on the planet. That's his ultimate thing, and nobody exemplifies that more than he does. So, fucking dick.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad if someone just opened up a hole and just pushed them all into it.
Oh, it'd be so good if we had another dimension. As space aliens can help us. Help us, space aliens. Help us, space aliens and Anonymous. Where are all of you in all this? Anonymous was supposed to be this big, dark, behind-the-scenes organization that was going to fuck things up, and there's not a lot going on there now. And then the space aliens that are supposed to exist, and Barack Obama in a recent interview said, yeah, but they're not in a building somewhere. Well, okay, he said, yeah, they exist, and these are the fantasies that I have.
What if they are the aliens?
Yeah, pull a big mask off of Trump and he's a fucking lizard head. That would make so much sense.
We've gone so far down Emily's conspiracy theory continuum there, because government being run by lizard people is like as far right conspiracy as possible.
Well, and that goes to that thing that I've been saying for years, that we ought to poison their crazy ideas with other ideas and get them to believe crazy shit, at least to get things done in the right direction, and convince them that Trump is a lizard person, and at least then they would help us and do the right thing. But maybe it all working itself out in a natural way is better. That could be.
Well, speaking about doing the right thing and things working out the way they should be, I want to do a massive shout out to Anthropic today. Okay, so for those who've been living under a rock, Anthropic is the AI company that has been powering the Department of War. They have safeguards that stop their models being used for mass surveillance of domestic citizens and for fully autonomous war, essentially completely removing a human from the kill chain, basically creating the Terminator or creating drones that would go out and just kill someone without a human having to make that decision. Seems pretty rational, right? Well, they told the Department of War, no, you can't use our model for these two things. And our commander in Tantrum had a full-blown nanny boo-boo. Pete Hegseth denounced them, basically said that they are then a threat to the supply chain, has uninvested in them, all of that sort of stuff. And fucking ChatGPT's open AI has gone, around the back door and taken over from Anthropic.
I didn't hear that second part of it. That sucks.
Yeah, and so they went and did that. But then now, I think his name's Sam Altman. I can't remember his name. He has explicitly put in clauses into the contract to uphold the same moral boundaries as what Anthropic did. So essentially, the government is trying to blackmail all of these AI engines into letting them do mass surveillance of our citizens in our own country and to allow the robots to randomly kill people.
Is it blackmail or is it extortion? It's so hard to choose in our current administration.
Oh, you're right. It's actually extortion.
I have this conversation with myself so many times where I say, no, they're no, they're extortion. And I try to have to work it out with our current president and his staff.
Yeah, it's extortion, not blackmail, because they don't have anything compromising on them. Although, didn't Iran, before they got bombed...
maybe they do.
Oh, maybe they do.
Right.
But didn't Iran say that their hackers had videos of Trump with little kids that they were going to release?
Bunch of people have said that. They have said they have piss videos. There's a lot of things that...
Oh, the piss videos, 100%. But Vladimir Putin has those.
Yeah, those. All of this stuff is allegedly out there. It's just at what point does it come to light and we get to see it?
Okay, here's a question.
Sure.
If Russia releases the water sports piss videos of Donald Trump, will you watch them?
Absolutely.
Ah, yuck. I couldn't.
I have had the conversation, and this says too much, but this is not me saying that this should happen. This is me playing through a scenario in my head. If there was an assassination video of Trump that somehow made it out to the internet that was not censored, and it was his head just getting blown apart, I said, wow, would I be sick enough to watch that? And I said, yeah, I would. I'd be okay with watching that, partially because I would want to make sure it wasn't some bullshit thing that they had done to fake it and now he's running off to some foreign country. But just at the very base, I would want to watch that because he has killed and caused so many people discomfort. I'd watch that. Bring it on.
I mean, it's a little bit dark, but I mean, how are you then going to explain to your future girlfriend that watching that video is the only way you can get aroused?
I thought you were going that way. That's good. Honey, put on the video.
Honey, put on the assassination video.
We're going to make it a special night. Oh, and can you wear that mask too?
It's just the anonymous mask.
Yeah. That's hot.
It's the Hillary Clinton mask in a pantsuit.
And then I take a picture.
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1.
And she dresses like Lauren Boebert.
Oh my gosh. Every time I hear the Alanis Morissette song, You Ought to Know, and there's a line in it that says, would she go down on you in a theater? Yeah. I think of Lauren Boebert.
I'm still conflicted on her because she's the worst, most despicable person, but she's also hot. And I know that in a situation, if it meant nothing, I would totally give it to her in an uncaring way. I would totally do that. I'm being honest as a male.
I find that it doesn't matter how good looking someone is, they can become really ugly as soon as
that's because you're a woman.
Open their mouth.
Yeah, guys don't care.
Really?
Yeah, if they're hot, they're hot because we don't associate good character and well-being and fine thoughts with attractiveness. It's just two completely separate, compartmentalized things. That's just the way we are.
I guess you just would have to not talk the whole time.
Either that or I'd be screaming stuff at her. One of the two.
Okay, this took a turn.
I'm just being honest. I'm sorry I'm being honest, but I am.
No, it's fine. The title of today's episode is Hate Fucking Lauren Boebert.
You think? Okay. God, do I have to do that?
Okay, my kids cannot listen to this episode.
Yeah. Well, how do we? You're just going to have to tell them, okay, once you get past the part of us talking about you, you're going to have to turn it off.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
How old's the older one?
12.
Okay.
Soon to be 13.
He's not ready to relate to me yet. Okay.
No.
At least on this level. I can teach him about Rush, but the Lauren Boebert thing.
Yeah, well, and the little one's 11.
Yeah.
He'll be 12 later in the year.
When he's about 16, he'll go back and listen to this, and he'll go, yeah, I agree with Stu on Lauren Boebert.
Yeah. But I mean, well, remember, that's a little bit Mrs. Robinson because she's a bit long in the tooth in the grand scheme of things. I mean, to you or I, she's relatively young.
Yeah.
But to them, she is, as the kids say, unk.
Unk is a thing? I've not heard unk.
Oh, yeah. Unk is now what they call people who they think are old. Like, yeah, okay, unk.
All right. Well, this is good to know.
You reach unk status.
Somebody says unk to me, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, right. It's not a term of endearment either. So if any kid out there is calling you unk, it's not good. It's not like Tio.
I was going to say, I have Tio, but it's meant to be like uncle, but it still means old and shitty, I guess.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, it is a low-key slur.
Yeah, I hate the whole way they talk, every single bit of it, the Riz and all that. Okay, we've talked about it so many times, and I could start a new list.
Yeah, so Riz is done. Riz is gone. Nobody's rizzing anymore.
And so much of it is, I just can't complete that extra syllable to make it the full word. So I'm going to say part of the word. Shut up, you lazy fuck. What else do you have to do? You're sitting at home staring at your phone.
Right.
Ugh.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I listen to the children speak, and I just wonder, how will they get jobs? I'm worried about it, but maybe I don't need to be worried about it.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them to talk and not be assholes. That's what we need.
Yeah. Although it's getting harder and harder and harder.
And I think it's just because they are so isolated from everything with the way things work now that they just do their own thing and scoff at things on a screen, and I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't know if I'm right on this, okay? But I'm interested in your opinion. I think that there are a couple of big problems. One, our kids are lonely and they are left alone to get up to their own devices too much. And they don't have what my friends and I refer to as home training.
Generation incel.
Yep, exactly. They are just raising themselves and each other like wild animals. And then by the time they become teenagers, they're too far gone. They've lost all respect. They had none to begin with. There's too much gentle parenting. And then once they get to that point, you've kind of lost them if you haven't established a really good relationship with them. And that's where we're at. There are these lonely kids whose parents aren't giving them enough attention, don't know what they're up to, not monitoring their devices, basically outsourcing parenting to devices. And it is ruining them as human beings.
I said that generation incel, and then it really made sense in my head because when you and I were growing up, I was a latchkey kid, and that meant that I would go home, and though it wasn't the best situation, I learned for myself and learned how to do things myself, and also went out of the house and had friends and did stuff socially and kind of became my own person. Now it seems that that is the case, but they come back to the house and just stare at an influence that is negative constantly on their screen and influences them, and there's no socialization and no learning to do anything, and that is like this new generation incel that kind of seems okay to them now because that's what they know.
And also, all of those things like the little mobile games and YouTube and all of this stuff, it is created to be addictive. And they are literally getting addicted to it. It is the dopamine hit. It is ruining their ability to concentrate and sit still in school. And then when you take it away, they have withdrawals. So you've got these little crackheads, these tiny little crack babies who are hooked on electronics. And I sound like an unk. I sound like I'm old, but it's not just me. It's the scientists. They've done the studies. We know it to be true. And I
Well,
really
and then that
feel for
Zuckerberg
parents.
motherfucker testifies before Congress and says they haven't done
Shocking.
anything wrong and they're good. And we're looking out for people. And now we have Instagram Teen that they put out, and they have knowingly engineered all this shit year after year, and they don't care. And he is corrupt, but now he's going to be okay because he's suckled Trump and given him millions of dollars like so many of the other corporate assholes. And I bet, I'm just thinking he's going to come through this being okay after testifying before Congress, and somebody's going to look out for him.
100%.
Yeah.
Go and read Careless People. They've tried to shut it down, but they all know what they're doing. They all know what they're doing.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of news we won't get to. Let's get to this one because it did happen this week, and to get to it next week is going to seem old. The Bafta Awards controversy.
Oh, yeah.
You know about this?
Oh, do I ever?
Damn
My
it.
phone lit up like a fucking Christmas
I was
tree.
hoping you hadn't heard about it because I wanted to be the first one to play it for you. But the BAFTA Awards are basically the British Oscars, and a couple dudes went up on stage, Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo, to give an award, and then a guy in the crowd yells something out, and I have that audio, and you probably won't even be able to hear it, but I'll just play the moment for you.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making. We're here to celebrate.
And then it went on from there, and they were a little bit like, whoa, what happened? That was a guy in the audience yelling the N-word, and it was not censored. And it's two black guys on stage, and everybody was like, oh, and there was a big thing after the fact. It went out live. They left it live. Turns out this guy has Tourette's syndrome and was in the audience because he was the focus of a Tourette's documentary that was nominated that year. So he was there, and he apparently just yells this stuff out and can't help himself. So my question is, do you think they left that in the initial feed because of the sensitivity that they wanted to give to the Tourette's people, and they couldn't go against them because then they're going to have controversy? And then it all became a big uprising, and then they took it out of the rebroadcast because the black community was pissed. How do you think this worked out?
As we know, there is a delay.
They had a 2-hour delay.
Yeah, there is a delay on the live broadcast. So they could have edited it. Now, that doesn't spare the gentlemen who are on stage, so you still would have seen their reaction, which would have been when it went out without context. But if they didn't bleep it or they didn't edit it, somebody missed it. Somebody wasn't paying attention. They were up in a sound booth or in a production studio somewhere, and they couldn't hear. Maybe to them it sounded like an almighty brain-exploding sneeze.
Right.
That's the only thing. And then they've realized what's happened, and then they've edited it. It's just I think it was a fuck up.
So
What do you think?
that they just didn't notice it at first, and then they did, and then they fixed it after? That makes sense. I kind of thought that maybe the way things are so politically correct that maybe they were trying to keep everybody happy. And then I think, okay, do you think this guy in the audience, based on what you know, has that word in his head because he's a racist? Or is it just that he's heard that word and he has this uncontrollable thing and it just comes out of him?
The latter. Lots of people who have Tourette's, they will often have some of their go-to phrases, but then it's not uncommon for them to say the thing that they're trying not to say. And it has nothing to do, I don't think that this guy is racist. In the same way that I'm sure if the cast of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, if we went back to the 90s and they were giving out an award, Guy Pearce is up on stage, not gay, any of them, but he might have said, a gay slur.
Right.
Because it's something that happens with Tourette's. I'd be interested to see the guy who was there. He's actually a Tourette's advocate. And so I'd be interested, and I haven't read, I'm sure he's come out with something, but I'm sure he's come out to say something. Do you know what he said at all?
I don't. I just know the event. And yeah, you're right. I bet he has, and we can look into that. And it just, I wondered about that. And then I thought, okay, that word, terrible, horrible, would never use it, is not technically obscene. You can technically say that word on network TV And we've just come to a place where culturally everybody knows that it has to be bleeped out. It's not in the same realm of shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, the 7 dirty words that Carlin talked about. It's not one of those. And I get the sensitivity to it. I think it's a terrible word. And then I think, why is it that we can't just live in a society where you can say whatever words you want to say on TV, any of those, and if the people are so pissed off, they're just not going to watch it, and that will self-police itself, because then if you're offending people, they're not going to give you their business, and maybe that's a better way to go as a society, and maybe we could have some understanding in that, and then maybe when this guy is shouting out the Tourette's, we have an understanding of, okay, he didn't mean to, and it's still a horrible word, and if anybody normal said that, we would just not patronize anything they do, and we work it out that way. That, to me, makes sense. I feel like just at the base of my belief, we ought to be able to say what we want to say and have true free speech.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one way to think about it. And I don't know if I've formed an opinion on it. I think it was a very unfortunate incident, and I'm sort of coming at it from a different angle. Will Smith physically fucking assaulted somebody.
And then they gave him the Oscar and said, yeah, stick around. Hang on, we're going to give you an award.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is abhorrent to me, but he's essentially been, using my little fingery air quotes, cancelled now. I think that no matter what happens, there are consequences. And I don't think that we need to read more into it than what it was. It was one guy having an outburst, but I think people are trying to make it way, way more than that. And I probably don't think it is. Now, I don't know what this guy, the guy with Tourette's, how he feels about it, but if I was him, I probably wouldn't be putting myself in those situations. You know, what else was he screaming out throughout the whole thing? And it's kind of annoying. If I was sitting next to him, I'd be kind of annoyed if he was like screaming out stuff. To be honest too, I'd probably be laughing my ass off.
I would too.
I would be laughing so hard. But
he's also bringing attention to this that not enough people are aware of. Like Billie Eilish even has Tourette's syndrome, and I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Yeah, so I know a bunch of people who have Tourette's. And, you know, there's treatment for it and all of that kind of stuff. And throughout my life, not everybody who has Tourette's scream stuff out. Sometimes they have involuntary movements, which imagine that you're in a kitchen with somebody who's cutting up stuff and has a knife, and then one of their involuntary movements is to stab it towards your face. Like, you can't be in the kitchen with a person who's got that involuntary Tourette's. Anyway, that was a bit of a side quest. But think about how the context would change, or how not outraged people would be. Imagine if both of the gentlemen on stage were friends with that guy with Tourette's and knew him personally and knew his tics, and that had happened and stuff before. They wouldn't care. Their reaction would have been completely different.
Right.
Maybe an unpopular opinion.
So I, at my core, believe what I just said, that as a society, we ought to be able to say anything that we want to say, and it will work itself out with where we do our business. But let me throw this in. I advocate for the devil. What if now it comes out after the fact that we've worked this all out, we find out that this guy is really a hardcore racist? Do you feel any different about it?
No.
Okay.
And the reason is because he didn't mean to say it. Even if he was a hardcore racist, he never would have wanted to put himself in that situation. And so it's a man with a medical condition who's done something terrible. I mean, our own president shits himself. Okay? And
We'd like to think so anyway.
We all make... he
please.
Definitely does.
I know.
Definitely does. And, you know, it is what it is. And people's, again, let's go back to this. People's fucking selective outrage can fuck all the way off in 2026, because we're talking about this, and this is the big thing, and we want to cancel the guy with Tourette's. And yes, it was an unfortunate circumstance. And I think that guy... I love what he's doing in trying to advocate for people with Tourette's, but I also think that there's a responsibility. Like, you have to make sure that you're not ruining everybody else's good time, which
Right.
this guy did. So I think he made a mistake there. But we've got people who are fucking kids and running an international sex trafficking ring, and none of them have been brought to justice, and we're giving inches. No innuendo expected. I'm talking column inches, like news inches, because I'm old. We're giving that to this bullshit.
Yeah, but those people that are fucking kids are rich, Emily. So they're rich and they pay people off and they are powerful in our modern day shitty society.
Yeah.
That's why. And you just accept it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just accept it.
Be the sheep that you were meant to be, that they are trying to create.
Right. The little sheeple. Be the
Yeah.
sheeple. So ridiculous.
So
But,
bottom
yeah.
line, the reason that guy has that word in his head isn't important. It's the fact that he can't control it coming out of his head.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Because, do you know what? Everybody has all different words inside their head.
Yep.
Do you know how hard it is for most people to not sing the N-word whilst listening to gangster rap?
Well, and if all of us went through life with the inability to censor ourselves at all, Jesus Christ. Hey, me at that Costco would have been a whole different thing.
Right?
Yeah, I'd have been
I
wrestled
can't
to
even
the ground.
imagine. It must be so horrible to live with that. I feel for everybody involved in that circumstance. Now, a bunch of my friends who are black or brown have posted about this. I got videos, I got texts, I got all that sort of stuff. People are absolutely horrified that it happened. And I agree with them. I also think that there are two sides, and both sides are horrible for both people involved. Well,
I kind
all
of thought
people
at
involved.
first, well, they just didn't give a shit enough to censor it. And now that I listen back to it, like it's almost like unless somebody told you it was there, you would have to really strain to know what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, this has been a show. We've talked and had a great time, and we'll end it with this.
Shut the hell away from me!
Talk to you soon.
Have a fantastic week.
Okay, you know how this goes. Like us, subscribe, tell your friends, write a nice review, engage with us. We're Total Babble on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, and on Blue Sky. Email is show@totalbabble.com. The Total Babble Podcast.
Listen to my